Hey, it's Chris heading into the office. It is a Monday morning. It's kind of gloomy here in Charleston, South Carolina today. We've had such awesome weather for the last week. I mean, it has been freaking perfect. But the reason that I'm doing this video on the way to the office is, one, when I get to the office, sometimes it's too busy to stop and put down thoughts into a video format. But two, it is now the Medicare season. So things are starting to really get busy in the office. And that's exciting because we're able to help more people in a more finite period of time. I've seen some things on the internet lately, specifically on YouTube, with agents talking about how hard they're working, and I mean specifically in the Medicare niche market, by driving for 1 hour, 2 hours to get to a place where they start knocking on doors, or they start following up to direct mail campaigns, which cost a fortune, and all the other things that they're doing in person. And particularly what I've been seeing is hard work, hustle, meaning this, being behind the wheel of this car. See, as I'm driving here, sorry for the camera angle, as I'm driving down the road, this is not work. This is complete unproductive time. The entire travel time to and from where the money's made is complete waste of time. I would not be driving to an office right now if I didn't have 5 employees there that are waiting for me. They actually don't even need me to be there. Oh gosh. They're doing everything autonomously, and the only reason I've got the office at all instead of working from home is because they are there. So I do need to go there and make sure everything's working right and see the people. Today we're interviewing another employee position. But if I were just starting off and I were building my Medicare business, I would do everything within my power to avoid the unnecessary busy work for the sake of being busy. I follow a lot of mentors online, very successful people who've already started and run their own business, hundreds of millions per year. And a lot of them, like Gary Vaynerchuk, talk about the hustle, 16 hours a day of hustle. I guarantee you what he does not factor into that and consider to be hustle is anything having to do with the drive to the activity. It's the drive to the activity that he tries to turn into other activity by making phone calls, returning calls, calling existing clients, checking on them, all the stuff that he does in the back seat while somebody else is driving him, because the driving there is completely otherwise useless and wasteful time. So if you're trying to build your own business, and I'm a small microcosm of somebody that's making hundreds of millions of dollars per year, if you want to make over $1 million a year in your Medicare/insurance business, I would highly, highly suggest doing everything within your power to eliminate the wasteful things that make you feel productive and yet are completely contrary to productivity. Being in a car in let's say an 8-hour day, if most agents had the work ethic of working 8 full hours a day, which they don't, but let's say you're working an 8-hour day. If you're driving for that 8-hour day 3 hours just to get to where you can give a presentation, then you're working a 5-hour day. How can you mitigate that? A number of ways. Yes, I'm a big proponent of doing things on the phone because I can literally push a button, be disconnected from a successful or failed phone call, either way, and then instantaneously be reconnected with another positive prospect that responded to something that wants my information, and I can either find out yes or no quickly. I could probably go through easily 50 prospects in a day with substantive conversations with them in one day being in my office, whereas I could probably see 8 or 10, or, I saw Doug Massey the other day doing final expense driving to see people. He had 15 people on his calendar, only got to see a total of maybe 10 or 11 of those people. But that is a super crammed, busy day of driving, and they all have to be within a very finite area geographically so that you can strategically hit one after another, after another, after another, and you're just pitching them cold. What I highly prefer is doing 5 times the production and not moving my ass from the seat one time. Why? Is it because I don't like moving my ass? No, it's because I like to do a concentrated amount of work in a smaller period of time so that I can have those 3 hours, if I'm going to have 3 hours of driving, I can have those 3 hours for a long lunch date with my wife, go to Shem Creek, watch the dolphins jump, Go out into Charleston Harbor, take the boat out. Do something more productive with life and the quality of life, as opposed to merely doing nothing but driving. It was Fire Marshal Bill calling on the phone that interrupted my video. Sorry about that. He was calling to see if we'd replaced our emergency lights, which needed to be replaced. Weird that he'd call on a early Monday morning. But anyway, my only point in this whole thing, this whole rant, is I just challenge you, take a stopwatch or an app on your phone that tracks time, like a stopwatch. Take a stopwatch and activate it, start the clock only when you're in front of, engaged with a prospect. From the time you're knocking on the door and the person comes to the door, you start having a good positive dialogue with the person. And then when the person is done with you and kicks you out of their house, positive sale or negative interaction, whichever, then take that time and stop it on the stopwatch. And repeatedly do that throughout your day. So the point of it is, at the end of the day, when you hit stop on that thing instead of pause each time, at the end of the day, you figure out how much time has been spent legitimately with an interested prospect, where you're having an engaging conversation with that person. Everything else, driving through Burger King, getting your tire fixed, everything else, driving the windshield time all the way there, looking on the GPS for where you're going, planning your route, getting your papers together, faxing your papers at the end of the day. None of that means a hill of beans. Only thing that matters is how much time are you spending in front of your prospect. And I guarantee you this, you'll probably find 2 hours of the day at most actually physically engaged in a productive conversation with somebody, maybe 2 hours a day. So if that's the case, out of an 8-hour day, if agents really worked 8-hour days, that would mean that you're only 4 times less productive by driving to go see the people. Could you make up that 4 times by talking to 4 times as many prospects on the phone? And you might argue, I'm not good on the phone, I suck on the phone, people don't like me on the phone. Great. Account for 4 times the failure rate, and you'd still be at where you're at right now. 4 times. Some agents might say, well, I'm spending half the day, 4 hours in front of somebody. That's great. Then you're only losing half the time. So you could spend twice as much prospect time talking on the phone to those same people. Just an idea, I just want you to consider the concept, because you make up way more by being on the phone with interested prospects in time and productivity and concentration than you lose in wear and tear on your vehicle and your time, and you're telling yourself that you're productive, you're telling yourself that you're working, you're telling yourself that you're active, when really all you're doing is exposing yourself to car accidents, car maintenance, flat tires, crashes on the road, things going wrong, and then opportunities for distraction with Burger King. Let me go to the gym. Let me go here. Let me go there. All the things that should be concentrated in a very small, finite period of hours that you dedicate solely to prospecting and talking to the people, because that can easily be done without stepping foot out of the Super Nice office. Have a great day. I want you to be encouraged during this Medicare season. It's going to be an awesome season for everybody involved. We're planning for 3 or 5 trips for next year, depending on how we do during AEP. So next year is going to be great. That's going to be the time of reaping the harvest and seeing what we've done. This is the time for planting everything. This is the time to get down and busy and dirty. And again, not delude ourselves by thinking that we are working when we're actually getting ready to work. Only working in front of a prospect, it's like an actor prepares to be on the stage. None of that means anything when the curtain goes up. And when the curtain goes up in insurance sales is when we're belly to belly or face to face or voice to voice with a prospect on the phone or in person. That is when we're on stage. And that's the only time that matters. Stay encouraged. Have a great day. Bye-bye.